What's up, you mad dogs? This is my full card prediction and breakdown video for this week's UFC Fight Night back in the Apex. Once again, Moicano versus Duncan. Now, I don't know what it is about this week's card, but I'm just not feeling it, you know? There's some interesting matchups on here. There's some good prospects on here coming up that I'm looking forward to see. But it's just something about this card. It's just, I've struggled to bring the energy into it this week, you know? I don't know if it's got anything to do with Izzy getting TKO'd again. Maybe a little bit. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this card's pretty weak. But it could be good. I've got other shit on this week as well. So maybe that's playing into it a little bit. Usually I'm only fucking thinking about the UFC and that's it. But hey, look, we'll jump into the card. There's the first fight of the night. I didn't even know was on here until like 5 minutes ago when I went to record this video and then noticed that I haven't broken down this fight yet. This has just been thrown in there. So first fight of the night, we have Kamaka versus Dakota Hope. Now, Kamaka, or Kamaka, however you say it, he's been in the UFC before. He didn't have a good run. He's since fought in Bellator and PFL. He has a lot of decisions on the record. He really struggles to get finishes by the looks of it. I think he's been KO'd twice, once back when he was in the UFC. I think that was against, it was not a Zachary Reese, it was a Jonathan Pierce, maybe, TKO'd by Jonathan Pierce. And he's coming back. He's 31, looking to make a re-debut, another run in the UFC. I don't know if they've just chucked this fight together to get an extra fight on the card. But Dakota Hope coming in for his UFC debut. This is his first time here. He's the younger fighter. He's probably the more physical fighter. I think he's got more finishing upside. And that's why I'm going to go with him to win. I'm going to say that Dakota Hope gets this done by TKO. Let's say he does it in the second round. Now, like I said, I didn't watch a whole lot of shit on these guys. I didn't look too much into this fight. It just popped up. But for now, that's going to be my pick for this fight. I might change that shit later in the week. If I do, I'll just do a post or something. But yeah, Dakota Hope. I'm going to say he gets a TKO in the second round here. Moving on. Fight number 2. We have Dione Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. I could really do what I did a couple weeks ago with the chicks fight and just flip a coin for this one. But I'm not going to do that. I've picked Melissa Gatto to win this fight. Now, she hasn't fought since 2024, so she's been out a little while. Dione Barbosa, she's coming off of a loss to Corrine Silva, but I feel like you could have really scored the first 2 rounds of that fight to her. So you could consider that one a bit of a robbery. Both of these girls, they can grapple. They've got all right striking. They're going to mix it up. I'm expecting to see some scrambles in this fight. I feel like Melissa Gatto just has more output in her fights, and I feel like that's what's going to be the difference here, and that's how she's going to get the judges to score the fight her way for at least 2 of the 3 rounds. Barbosa's crafty though. I mean, it's women's MMA, so you can only get so crafty, but you know what I'm saying. Barbosa, she can put a good fight together, a decent fight together, so I think this is going to be a close one. I'm looking for some back and forth scrambles here. But yeah, I just feel like in the striking with the ground and pound and on the feet, I feel like Gatto's going to have more of an output where Barbosa can sometimes find herself defending a whole lot more than attacking, lacking output. So yeah, that's why I'm going to go with Melissa Gatto here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Yeah, Melissa Gatto, that's going to be my pick by decision. Third fight of the night, we have Azamat Bekoev versus Tresean Gore. I'm going to go with Bekoev here. I'm going to say he gets it done in the second round by knockout. Probably the first 2 rounds. It could happen in the first, but I feel like Tresean Gore, man, he just hasn't been able to put it together in the UFC. You know, he brings a decent grappling threat. He brings a submission threat. He's got big power in the hands. His striking's very basic. He defensively, he has a lot of holes in the striking, a lot of openings there to be hurt. He has been KO'd twice. But it took Marco Tullio a little while to get him out of there. He was styling on him for 2 rounds, absolutely. Gore got a couple of moments in that fight, but for the most part, he was just getting pieced up, getting worked. I feel like Azamat Bekoev's going to do something similar here, just in a different style. It's not going to be pretty. He's not like an amazing striker by any means. He is very physical, very powerful, big finishing threat. He can submit too, so I could see him getting into the ground, but Tresean Gore does have decent grappling. I think he's a black belt in BJJ as well. So, man, I don't know if I see a submission here from Bekoev. It's not impossible, but I feel like a TKO is more likely. He's got very lethal, very nasty ground and pound. So if it does get to the ground, I feel like I could see him looking for dominant position to open up that ground and pound more so than the chase of submission. And yeah, I feel like coming off of that loss to Yusri Belgari, this is a much easier matchup than that. Obviously, we've seen Yusri piece up Abdul Malik last week. So you can't really frown on Bekoev for that loss. And yeah, I feel like he's gonna come. I think he's gonna bounce back this week. I think he's gonna be able to get the finish over Tresean Gore. People have shown that he's not that great. He's shown his holes, and I think Bekoev's gonna be able to expose them once again and find the finish with a second round TKO. Maybe like a under 1.5, like an early second round if you're on that betting line, you know. Yeah. Anyways, 4th fight of the night, we have Elise Pereira. I don't mind Elise Pereira versus Hailey Cowen. I'm going to go with Alice Pereira here. And I wanted to have a little bit of fun with this one, all right, boys? I'm going to say, hear me out. Alice Pereira wins by submission. Now, she's only got 1 submission on her record. I think she's got like 5 knockouts and a decision as well. Or 4 knockouts and a decision. 6-1. Anyways, Hailey Cowen, she will try to grapple, but she's been submitted a bunch. Now, Alice Pereira, Brazilian, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that she's got some BJJ under the belt. I'm just going to assume. Maybe it's not safe for me to assume. She is usually a striker. She's very rangy. She's pretty decent on the feet. She throws big power shots. She's got a lot of finishes for a women's MMA fighter. Now, obviously, regional scene. She's coming off of a loss, though, to Montserrat Rendon, who hasn't really shown to be any yeah, she's all right, but, you know, she's not the best. Hailey Cowen, she hasn't fought, I think, since 2024. Like I said, she will try to grapple. But yeah, she's been sub 3 times, man. I don't like that. I lost what I was saying. I'm sorry. I keep looking at Alice Pereira. I got to stop doing that. I'm going to pick Alice Pereira. I'm going to say she gets a submission. I'm going to say she hurts Hailey Cowen with something big on the feet. Sorry, guys. I have an itchy nose. I promise it ain't nothing. She's going to hurt Alice. Alice Pereira is going to hurt Cowen on the feet. Cowen's going to shoot a very messy takedown. And I think Alice Pereira is going to find her way into a submission with those long arms, maybe like a dash choke or a guillotine or something like that. I feel like defensively, submission-wise, Hailey Cowen, she's shown that she's got those holes there. And yeah, I feel like she's going to fall to a submission. Probably more likely a decision. But I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to have fun with this one. Alice Pereira by submission. That's going to be my call for that fight. Next fight of the night, we have someone else who has a serious holes in the submission game. Darius Flowers versus Lando Vannata. I'm going with Lando Vannata here. I'm going to say he gets a submission win. Now, once again, we have another fighter who hasn't fought for like 2 years. They were serious when they said fighters need to start getting active or we're going to cut your fucking contract, because there's been some fucking fighters coming out that I haven't seen for a very long time. So both of these guys, for instance, I mean, Darius Flowers, he's been submitted like 6 times now. And this is really like, I looked into this fight for a little bit. I don't really care that much. Neither of these guys are going to go close to the top of their divisions, especially in the lightweight division. But Lando Vannata, he's been around for a long time. Darius Flowers, he's 0-3 in the UFC. He did have a Contender Series win. But since that, 0-3, Lando Vannata, he's got the UFC experience. He's been around. He can submit. He can strike on the feet well. He can mix it up. I feel like he's got a better all-round game for MMA. And Darius Flowers, he can wrestle. But like I said, submitted 6 times. The holes are there. People have shown. People have exposed his weaknesses. And I think the same thing is going to happen here. We're going to see a second-round submission for Lando Vannata. That's going to be my pick for this fight. Trying not to spend too much time on the ones that don't matter that much, you know? Next fight of the night, Alessandro Costa versus Stewart Nicoll. This one was tough for me. I'm picking against an Aussie. I'm going to go with Alessandro Costa here. Now, he's had a bit of a weird career. A little bit inconsistent, you know? Coming off of a TK loss to Alden Correa. Now, that being said, I think Alden Correa is pretty good. He's had another fight since that, and he's shown to be very, very dynamic. So, I don't want to frown on that one too much. Obviously, he's got a loss to Steve Erceg as well when Steve first got into the UFC. And a TKO loss to Amir Albazi, I believe, a long time ago. Which hasn't aged all that good as itself. But Stewart Nicoll, 0-2 in the UFC, submitted by Jesus Aguilar. And then he lost to Lucas Rocha in a fight that he was actually favourite in. And he's got a weird style, man. He just seems to lack damaging ability. Like, he's a grapple heavy style. So he's looking to get the fight to the ground. He wants to tie you up and submit you. But on the feet, man, he looks a little bit like a victim out there, backing up. When he gets backed up to the cage, it doesn't look too good. And coming up against someone like Costa, who's very physical, he's very dangerous with the hands, and he can grapple too. He's Brazilian. He's got very good takedown defense, so I feel like Stewart Nicoll's really going to struggle to get this fight to the ground, and that's what he's going to want to do. He struggled to get Lucas Rocha to the ground. I feel like he's going to have a similar problem here, but he's dealing with someone that's more dangerous on the feet, and I think he's going to get TKO'd. I'm going to pick Alessandro Costa to win this fight by TKO. Round number 2. I've got a lot of round 2 finishes picked for this card, so that's going to be the trend I'm going for here tonight, all right? Round 2 knockout for Alessandro Costa. I just feel like he's going to be a lot more physical than Stewart Nicoll. I feel like he's going to be able to walk him around. Even on the ground, I feel like he'll have his own moments. I feel like he can outdo Nicoll on the ground as well. So I hate to do it. I hate to pick against an Aussie, but I have to be objective. Alessandro Costa will get this one done by finish. Next fight of the night. A tough one. This is a tough one. Heavyweight bout. Guilherme Pat versus Thomas Peterson. Pat is coming off of his debut win by decision over, I think it was Alan Fry Jr. Fuck this itchy nose. Coming up against Thomas Peterson, who's been around for a little while now. He's coming off of a 3rd round knockout loss to Vitor Petrino. He got absolutely bombed with an uppercut with a brutal, brutal finish. He's been KO'd a couple times, but it is heavyweight, so it's the heavy hitters. You got to expect it. Pat's undefeated, a little bit untested in the same breath. Obviously, he's only had one fight in the UFC. He did he come off the Contender Series? I feel like he did come off the Contender Series. Can't quite remember now. He's a good striker. He's not a blob. He's very athletic for the heavyweight division. He's a clean striker. He can use kicks too. Not all heavyweight fighters can do. He's happy to work on the back foot, look for counters, look for big straight shots, look to set up them kicks. I think he's gonna get to work here. He showed pretty good takedown defense in that fight against Alan Fry Jr., who's a decent grappler for the regionals. And Thomas Peterson will probably bring a similar approach to this fight. I think he's going to try and grapple a bit. He tried it with Vitor Petrino. He's tried it in a lot of his fights, and he's found success with it. He's a decent fighter for this level. if you get what I'm saying. Obviously not top level, but he's decent. He's not the worst. I am going to go with Guilherme Pat here. I'm going to say he gets a TKO in the 3rd round. I know Thomas Peterson's coming off of a 3rd round TKO loss, and that might sound like some recency bias, but I feel like Pat has the style to pull that kind of finish off, like an over 1.5 TKO type finish. I just feel like his rangy style of kickboxing, he's going to be able to defend the takedowns. He also in his last fight, he did well in the clinch at framing for elbows, and he actually opened up Fry Jr. early on with a big elbow, which cut him up badly, and he was busted open for the rest of the fight. So I feel like he's going to be able to do good work in the clinch defensively. I feel like he's going to be able to defend the takedowns for the most part. I could probably see Thomas Peterson taking a round early on, maybe the 1st or the 2nd round even. But I feel like Guilherme Pat's going to put it on him over the 3 rounds. And the more this fight goes, the more damage we're going to see on Thomas Peterson. And I think Guilherme Pat's going to be able to find that shot to put him down and follow up with a ground and pound TKO. I'm not sensing like a flatline knockout, but yeah, more so like a drops him with a head kick or something like that, drops him with a straight right down the pipe or a big uppercut, and then follows up, gets a ground and pound, gets a TKO. I'm going to say he gets it done in the 3rd round. Yes, that's going to be my pick for this fight. That was a little bit of a tough one for me, to be honest. Thomas Peterson, especially when you get these fucking these newcomers, man, you don't know when don't know how far they're gonna go, you know. Anyways, on to the main card. Next fight of the night, we have Jose Delano versus Robert Ruchala. I'm going with Jose Delano here. I think he looked very, very fucking good. Very fucking good in his Dana White's Contender Series debut last year. He won a decision, but he put on an absolute clinic against the dude that he was fighting, piecing him up on the feet. He can do it all, man. He can really do it all. He's got a good submission threat, but he's going to look to keep this fight on the feet. Robert Ruchala, he will mix in the grappling. He will look to mix in the grappling. I think he will want to do that in this fight. But I think Delano is going to be better everywhere, to be honest with you. Ruchala, look, he's not the worst. But I just feel like Delano, he looked good. He looked really fucking good. Really clean. Very technical with the striking. The way he was moving around, his footwork and movement around the cage. Just his movement as a whole was super, super impressive. Head movement, everything. Defense, everything, man. I'm pretty high on this dude coming up. It's going to be interesting to see how he can bring that into fights in the UFC against top-level competition. Robert Ruchala, he's not necessarily the top-level competition, but we're going to see. He's not the worst. So I think this is a good fight to put together before you really start giving him some UFC-level competitors. But yeah, I think Delano is going to win this fight by decision. I think he's going to out-damage Ruchala across 3 rounds, probably a 30-27. I think he's going to be able to defend any grappling, get reversals of his own, win scrambles of his own. I just think he's going to be better everywhere. And I think for the most part, he's going to dictate where this fight is. And I think he'll want to keep it on the feet and really put it on Robert Ruchala. I could maybe see like a round 2 or 3 TKO as well. But I'm going to lean the side of the decision and just say he puts on an absolute clinic here against Robert Ruchala. Piecing him up across 3 rounds by decision. That's going to be my pick for this fight. Next fight of the night, Tommy Gunn, baby. Let's fucking go. This I feel like is a really good matchup for Tommy McMillen. I think he's going to win this fight by finish in the 1st round easily. We could maybe see a little bit of resistance from Zecchini on the feet. But I'm going to say Tommy McMillen finishes this fight in round 1. I'm going to lean the submission. But him and Sean and Tim, they've all been saying that he's coming out looking for a knockout. So that could happen. He's definitely got the ability to do that. Zecchini's been knocked out a couple of times as well. His debut was against Morgan Charrier. He lost by TKO due to body kicks. He's got a bit of an awkward style, bit of a weird stance, weird approach, weird little fucking Italian dude. I don't like it. I'm going to be honest. I don't like it. I think he's a weird looking dude. And I'm looking forward to seeing him get finished this week. Okay? Tommy Gunn, he's going to fuck this dude up however the fuck he wants. The only resistance I could possibly see is on the feet. Zecchini looked to have some decent power in that debut. He was landing a couple shots on Charrier, but Charrier is pretty average himself. So, Tommy Gunn, he's going to get it done. He's got very good grappling. He's got very good striking. He's very resilient. That Dana White's Contender Series debut, go back and watch that shit if you haven't. To beat an undefeated Russian prospect like that, insane. Having that first round, so much adversity in that first round, dropped multiple times, escaped a submission that was as deep as it gets, around the neck, under the chin. All good, bruh. All good. I'm fucking winning this fight. That's what Tommy McMillen said to himself. Came out in round 2 and 3 and put it on the dude, undefeated Russian, picks up the decision win to get his UFC contract in what was an absolute war. An absolute banger of a fight. I feel like he's going to have a great career. I feel like he's going to give us some sick fucking fights, win or loss. I feel like this dude's a fucking serious fighter, and he's going to be coming in to prove that. And he's going to win this fight in the very first round. Like I said, I'm going to say it's a submission, but I could see a knockout. They've been saying that for the past however many weeks they've been talking about it. But yeah, he is a submission guy. He's got very good subs, especially from that front choke. So I could see, especially from the front headlock and the front choke. I could see like a front choke, like a dash choke or something like that. But yeah, Tommy Gunn, he's going to be my pick for this fight. I think he gets it done easily. Next fight of the night, we have Eithyn Ewing versus Rafael Estevam. Okay, this is probably the hardest fight on this card to pick. I've been back and forth on this one a little bit to start this week off, and I could change. Yeah, I could change again. If I do, like I said earlier, I'll just run a post up or something, or maybe I'll do a little short or something like that, just to fill you in. But I'm going to go with Rafael Estevam. I'm going to say he wins this fight by decision. No. That's not what I've decided. I'm going to say Rafael Estevam gets a submission win. Rear naked choke. Second round. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. That's going to be my pick for now. I don't know. I actually don't know if I'm going to change on that. Eithyn Ewing obviously had a very, very fucking good debut. Coming in very short notice against Malcolm Wellmaker. Very fucking touted prospect. Putting everyone to sleep. Comes in, 30-27's him. Impressive performance. You need to give him his flowers. Absolutely. I don't want to pick Rafael Estevam and make it people think that I'm just underestimating Eithyn Ewing still after that performance. I think this is going to be a very close fight. But I do think Rafael Estevam is going to be a lot better on the ground. And I think that's the difference here. I think on the feet, Eithyn Ewing will probably be levels above Estevam. No doubt. But I feel like it's probably same both ways. Like, Estevam's probably a whole lot better than Ewing on the feet. Yes, he has wrestling, and he showed a bit in the Malcolm Wellmaker fight. But Estevam has come in and put good wins over actual UFC competition level fighters. Now, he is coming up from flyweight, so he is a bit smaller, but both of these guys are about the same size. So as far as the weight class goes, he is a little bit smaller, but for this fight in particular, not so much. He's got a good win over Charles Johnson, where he just controlled him on the ground. Not many people can do that. Charles Johnson has decent defensive wrestling, and he's hard to get to. He did slow as that fight went on and had a bit of a rough third round there. but he is good. He is pretty good on the ground, and he's good at getting the back. He doesn't use ground and pound all that much, but he will take the moments when they're there. He doesn't chase for it, or he doesn't actively hunt for it, but he will take the openings when they're there. He is looking for the submissions. He has very good back takes, like I mentioned. I feel like he's going to be able to get to the back of Eithyn Ewing here, and I think he's going to be able to find that rear naked choke in the second round. Now, coming in as an underdog here, I get the performance. I get the performance from Eithyn Ewing. It was very impressive. But is Wellmaker that good? Are we banking on Wellmaker being that good? I don't rate Estevam all that much. But he is undefeated, and he has been in the UFC. I don't know. This could be another one of those ones, you know? A non-UFC guy coming in, fighting someone who's been in the UFC. Like, when you think about it, with Wellmaker, his only real UFC competition level fight was Cameron Simon, who was on a skid already. I don't know. It is a tough one. It is a tough one based off of the matchups that these guys have had. Estevam has the UFC experience, has more fight experience in general. Eithyn Ewing, he has been submitted before, but it was a heel hook early in his career too, so I don't think it's something that we can really look at and take much from. But yeah, I just think Estevam's going to have him on the ground here. I think he's going to be able to outdo him. He's going to be able to control the fight for at least the first 2 rounds. Even if he doesn't get the finish in the second, I feel like he can get it done by decision too, with mostly control, hunting the submissions, looking for a little bit of damage here and there. I need to mention, I could see like a late over 1.5 TKO kind of situation for Ewing. Possibly. As Estevam starts to slow, Ewing is pretty slick on the feet. He's got very good boxing, so I could see that. Like a late TKO from Ewing. But I am going to side with Rafael Estevam here. I'm going to say he gets that submission in the second round. Next fight of the night, we have a fun one that I don't think will last very fucking long at all. Abdul Rahman Yakiayev versus Brendan Ribeiro or Ribeiro. I'm going with Yakiayev. I think you have to go with Yakiayev here. I think it's crazy to not go with Yakiayev here. Ribeiro, he's pulled off a couple of cheeky little wins across his career. He had that recent win over Dione Nergazai. He is coming off of a loss to Umar Sai, which has aged horrendously. He's been knocked out like 6 or so times, I want to say. He's been finished a lot, basically. Now, I feel like Ribeiro's danger that he's bringing here, I feel like is pretty much probably just the BJJ. He does have very good jiu-jitsu. So if it's on the ground, I feel like if there's any danger from Ribeiro, it's going to be on the ground. But Yakiayev, he can do it all. He's a Chechenian. He can knock you the fuck out. The combination that this dude threw in his fight with, who was it? Rafael Sequeira. The combination that he threw in that fight to open the fucking fight was insane. It was like a spinning heel kick into a 2-1-2 head kick. Dropped him, followed up with ground and pound, and then jumped on the back and subbed him out with the rear naked choke. No hooks in. Insane. Within 30 seconds or so. Like, that was in 30 seconds. Insane stuff. And I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say he gets this fight done within a minute. I cashed on this shit last week with Terrence McKinney. It was paying like 8-1 for Terrence McKinney to win inside of a minute. I'm going to go for the same shit here in this fight. I feel like Abdul Rahman Yakiayev is going to finish this fight under half a round. Within a minute, to be bold. I'm going to say it's a knockout. It could be a submission. Leaning more than knockout because Ribeiro does have the BJJ chops, and he's been chinned a bunch. So it just makes sense, you know? Yakia is very fucking dangerous, and I think he's going to get a highlight reel finish once again this week. The odds on this fight are crazy. Round 1 finish, that's going to be your best bet as far as betting goes. I don't think I see this going out of the first round. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't. I really don't. But Yakiaev is pretty fucking good. We're going to see how good he is the more fights he goes on into his career, but I think he's very much good enough to get through this fight quite easily. Anyways, on to the co-main event. We have another women's co-main event. Look, I don't want to complain about women's fights too much. Actually, we had 2 fucking finishes last week. Very fucking brutal one by Alexa Grasso, by the way. That Macy Barber pick went up in the air very quickly. That was fucked, but that was a sick fucking finish by Grasso. Just by the way. Virna Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ricci. Now, for this fight, I'm going to pick Tabitha Ricci. She's the younger fighter. Both these girls can grapple. Virna brings a whole lot more of a heavy grappling style to this fight. Tabitha Ricci, she will look to have boxing moments on the feet. She'll mix in the clinch. Doesn't go for takedowns like crazy. She doesn't look for ground control a whole lot. But she's good in the grappling. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. She's got judo as well. I think she's going to have the grappling here to defend the submissions. Defend the submission threat of Virna Jandiroba. And I think she's going to be able to win scrambles of her own. And I think the output is going to be the difference in this fight. I think Ricci's going to have more moments of output on the feet. I think a lot of this fight will be on the ground. But even when Virna's on the ground, if she's not getting a submission, she's not really throwing a whole lot of ground and pound. Whereas I think the output of Tabitha Ricci on the feet and even on the ground, being able to fare on the ground and match Virna Jandiroba in the grappling, I feel like she's going to be able to get at least 2 of the 3 rounds mixing it up, you know? I feel like the difference on the ground is a whole lot different than the difference on the feet. Jandiroba's not lost on the feet, but I just think Ricci's going to have a whole lot more output. She's going to be able to overwhelm her a little bit on the feet. And I think Jandiroba will, I don't know, she's going to struggle to find openings, I feel like, on the ground, because Ricci, she's switched on. Obviously, like I said, she's got the grappling chops, so I feel like she can hold up in that area. Yeah, Tabitha Ricci. I won't spend too much time on it. I feel like she gets it done by decision. That's going to be my pick for the co-main event, which leads us to the main event of the night. We have Chris Duncan versus Renato Moicano. This is actually an interesting one. Obviously, Renato, he's got fucking crafty little wins in there, you know? Win over BSD. Very impressive. Win over Jalen Turner. Like, bro. But then he's coming off of a loss to fucking Beneil Darius in 2025. Slimed out Beneil Darius. You know? Now, I guess that fight, maybe style-wise, it's a little bit different because obviously Benny's a very good grappler, but so is Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan is a fucking weapon. A resilient fucking beast. He's going to come bringing the fight. I'm trying to find the words that I was just thinking of. Chris Duncan, man, he's fuck me. Oh, I hate when that happens. He's tough as nails. He's tough as fucking nails, all right? Chris Duncan, he can do it all. He can submit you. He can knock you the fuck out. He can get pretty much knocked out and then come back and win the fight. We've seen him cracked and wobbled bad in a lot of his fights. But I feel like he's going to get it done. I feel like he will get this done. Renato, a little bit chinny in his older age. Gets dropped a lot. Obviously, I said that about Chris Duncan too, but Renato Moicano, he doesn't bring a whole lot of danger on the feet, you know? He's not that much of a dynamic striker. He's got more of a grappler, you know? And I feel like Chris Duncan is going to be levels above him on the feet. I did see an interview saying that he's never been able to submit Moicano in training. So, and he said, I would be surprised if I was able to submit him. So, I don't think he's going to be trying for that. I think he's going to try and knock him out. And I think he's going to be able to get it done. I think he's going to knock him out within 2 rounds. I want to say he does it in the first round. Yeah. Yeah, I reckon he's going to drop him. Club and sub. No, he's just going to drop him. Finish off with TKO. Finish off with ground and pound shots for the TKO. Fucking hell. Finish off with TKO. Yeah, right. Yeah, Chris Duncan. I think he's just going to be more resilient. He's going to have an advantage on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to put the hands on Renato Moicano, and he's going to fucking give him another loss. No, ain't no fucking bonuses for Renato Moicano this time out, all right? He's going to be a little bit disappointed with that. No 100K. He's the money man. But I'm sorry. That's just how this one's going to go down. Chris Duncan by knockout in the very first round. That's going to be my pick for the main event, which wraps us up for this fight night card, which is quite mid. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, guys. If I hope I wasn't too fucking lackluster of energy throughout that. And I'm sorry for missing on the recaps the last couple of weeks. I really am. I was a little bit busy, but that's no excuse. It really isn't. So I am sorry for that. I'm going to get back on the fucking roll and start getting more videos out. I posted a video last week. I wanted to do the part 2 to that. Maybe this week, but I do have a lot on, so we'll see if we get time to put it together. I am a fucking family man, boys, all right? So give us a moment. I'm trying to open up time so I can put more time into this channel. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying bringing content for the boys. And I'm liking seeing my improvements here and there, you know? I'm enjoying it, all right? So thanks so much for watching. If you got to this point of the video, drop a like and a sub if you enjoyed. And yeah,